Welcome to New Vision's Echo Tip episode number 16. Hello, I'm David Ward for New Vision. I'm an assistive technology instructor. In today's Amazon Echo Tip, we're going to be zeroing in on a feature called the Daily News Briefing or Flash Briefing. And it's a very powerful feature to get your news every day. All right, so what is the news briefing or flash briefing as it's called in some of the settings panels on your Echo? What is that? Well, first off, in a previous episode, we had defined a term, and that is podcast. And a podcast are pre-recorded audio segments that come out on the internet. So it could be NPR hourly news summary. It could be the CNN news briefing of the day. It could be Bloomberg, a number of different news outlets, and even local news outlets. For example, here in the Roanoke Valley, we have the Roanoke Times, we have WDBJ7, we have WDBJ7 Weather. We have a number of different outlets that make these kind of information on a daily basis, if not hourly basis, available. For example, the NPR hourly news summary, I think, is probably revised several times throughout the day with new news events. So now that you know what podcasts are, we've recapped that phrase again. Think about this. Let's say I really like NPR hourly news summary, but I love to have the Channel 10 or Channel 7 news as well, local content or local weather report, or I love the Roanoke Times. Well, I can stack all of that together, kind of like a mixtape in the old days where you put the songs the way you want them on a cassette tape. Same idea, but with news. And that way every day I get the news that I want and I consume it the way I want. And it's automatically fresh, so it will pull every morning from the newest information from, let's say, CNN or NPR, and then pull from the Roanoke Times current information so that I'm getting the brand new neatest, coolest stuff. All right, so pretty powerful. Well, first off, before I go into more detail and start demonstrating some of this, I'm going to need you to once again press the microphone button on the top of your Amazon Echo. So the microphone button, the importance of pressing that is so that when I'm giving demonstrations, your Echo won't be responding, thinking I'm talking to it, because I'm actually talking to one here in the studio. So if you'll press that button, it will make a sound that sounds like this. Thump. And it will turn the ring around the top of the unit all red. And correspondingly, I'm going to unmute mine because I'm going to be demonstrating it here. It'll make that sound when the microphones are back on. That way she won't respond when I'm talking and doing this demonstration. Okay, so just give you a moment to do that. All right. You can verbally enable a lot of these news skills or news elements into your daily briefing, and you can do it verbally. So that's first off what I'm going to probably demonstrate. That way you can see how it works. Alexa, enable WDBJ7 skill.
Do you mean WDBJ7 News?
Yes.
WDBJ7 News is in your flash briefing. To hear it, just say, "What's my flash briefing?" To manage it, go to your Alexa app, tap on Settings, then select Flash Briefing.
Okay, so that was kind of nice. She gave us a little breakdown of how to play it and also how to edit it or change our configuration. You could change the way these play as well. So I could have NPR the first thing I hear in the morning, and then that's followed by WDBJ7. Let's try another local outlet here. Alexa, enable Roanoke Times skill.
The Roanoke Times is in your flash briefing. To hear it, just say, "What's my flash briefing?" To manage it, go to your Alexa app, tap on Settings, then select Flash Briefing.
Okay, so that gives you just kind of a neat little feature there. A few other outlets that are available here in the Roanoke Greater Valley region is WSLS 10 News, WSLS 10 Weather, different outlets here. Let me enable this weather one. Alexa, enable WSLS 10 Weather, Roanoke.
WSLS 10 Weather, Roanoke is in your flash briefing. To hear it, just say, what's my flash briefing?
Alexa,
To manage
stop.
it.
Okay, all right. So they're all added in here. Now, they come in a very particular sequence when I'm doing it verbally. So whatever the last one is I added should be the first one in the queue. All right, so let's, before I get into a discussion of how you configure this further in the app, let's just see how it works. So I can use a phrase like news, flash briefing. I'm pretty lazy, so I usually just say news. Alexa, play my news.
Here's your flash briefing. From Bloomberg First Word.
President Trump is open to improving background checks for gun purchases. That's according to NPR,
Alexa,
which cites a statement.
Skip.
In NBC News.
Alexa, stop. All right, so you kind of definitely get the idea. Now, the reason the sequence probably didn't come in the way I wanted it is that I already had them listed, but probably further back in the list, so they didn't rearrange them. All right, so very basic, kind of cool features. So let me give you just a little further description of the pros and cons and how you can configure this. I'm going to mute my Echo so she won't hear me. So you can configure these news elements any way you want, and sometimes verbally trying to enable it, like I was just doing, doesn't always work too well. Maybe it's hard for her to pronounce, or for me to say, or for her to understand. So you might have heard Bloomberg was one of the first outlets I had listed there in my flash briefing. A handful of those are video news as well. And on some of the Amazon Echoes, there's a built-in screen like the Amazon Echo Show. Those will actually show you video clips from the Bloomberg News and from CNN and I think NBC and a few others. So that's pretty powerful. But you can configure all these things independently in the Alexa app, either on a smartphone or a tablet. Or if you have a computer, you can go to alexa.amazon.com. and configure those as well. And so that's pretty powerful. And once again, rearrange the sequence, or if it's difficult to say maybe the particular name of the news outlet, you can go in there and do a search and add it. So that's pretty powerful. All right, so that basically brings our news description. Oh, I left one thing out. You might have noticed that I used the phrase skip, or I could have used a remote control. So if I have 4 or 5 news outlets lined up, say I have NPR followed by Channel 7 followed by Channel 10, if I'm tired of listening to NPR, the first one, I can hit the skip or say skip, and it will skip to the next outlet in the list. And you can also have your weather in there as well, like either your typical Amazon Echo weather report or a local weather outlet. Like I said, Channel 10, I think here locally does a weather report. Now, I also used another phrase. I said skill. So skills are very closely allied with what we might think of apps on our smartphones. But on the Amazon Echo store, you'll have different news outlets that have skills that are particularly designed for media, for like news and weather and things like that. And so that's why I use that phrase. And we'll get into more in depth about other types of skills in the future. But anyway, so that'll bring kind of a close to our daily news briefing or flash briefing, how to use that, how to configure that. And it's a very powerful feature of your Amazon Echo. All right, well, next time we're going to zero in on another feature of the Amazon Echo, and that is using calendar. How do I use a calendar or my calendar on my Amazon Echo? That will be on our next Amazon Echo tip. So once again, we reached that time, the end of our episode, where it's time to turn your microphone back on so you can talk to your Amazon Echo again and start practicing some of the many things that we've learned. I'm David Ward for New Vision, signing off. Thank you for listening. This episode is brought to you by New Vision in connection with a grant from the Foundation for the Roanoke Valley and with the kind use of WVTF Studios. For the newest information and content about what New Vision is doing, please see the website newvision, ROA, the first 3 letters of Roanoke, .org. That's .org. New Vision is a nonprofit that provides information services and assistive technology training to the visually impaired living in Southwest Virginia. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision.